Okay, let's just dive right into this and immediately challenge a myth that honestly, so many of us have been sold. It's this idea that leg weakness is just an inevitable, unavoidable part of getting older. Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to look at some groundbreaking nutritional science that turns that outdated belief completely upside down. We're going to unpack the real root cause of why our legs lose their power as we age, and more importantly, we'll show you exactly how to fix it.
You know the feeling, right? If you've been dealing with those awful leg cramps that shoot awake in the middle of the night, or maybe knees that suddenly buckle when you're just trying to stand up, with that overwhelming stiffness in your calves by midday, it is incredibly easy to just sigh and say, well, I guess I'm just getting older. But what if that's simply not true? What if those symptoms aren't just aging, but are actually desperate cries for help from a body that is severely lacking specific nighttime nutrients?
And that really brings us to the core premise of today's Explainer. The reality is that the root cause of this decline isn't just time passing. It's a silent, completely hidden deficiency in three specific, cheap, and natural vitamins. These are essential nutrients your body absolutely desperately needs, specifically right before you go to sleep, to rebuild that leg strength. And because they're natural and unpatented, well, they aren't heavily marketed to you.
To put this into perspective, the sheer impact of missing just one of these crucial nutrients is absolutely staggering. Missing a single one increases nighttime leg cramps by 42%. It delays your muscle repair by 37%, and, terrifyingly, it triples your risk of falling after the age of 60. So the stakes here are incredibly high.
To really understand what's happening, we have to talk about a word called sarcopenia. Essentially, this is the age-related loss of muscle mass, and it almost always hits your legs first. We're talking your thighs, your calves, your glutes. If getting up from a chair has become a whole event, or climbing the stairs is way slower than it used to be, this is validating what you are experiencing. It's a biological process. But fortunately, it's a biological process we can actually fight back against.
All right, let's start our countdown. Vitamin number 3, vitamin B12, the nerve connector.
B12 is a nutrient absolutely critical for maintaining strong legs, stable movement, and driving your overnight muscle repair. I want you to think of it like the power line connecting your brain directly to your legs. When B12 runs low, it's literally like a frayed wire. The communication between your brain and your muscles begins to glitch and break down. Your legs don't just fail because of muscle loss. They fail because the signals telling them to move, stabilize, and contract just aren't getting through properly. And that leads straight to weakness and dangerous imbalances. Now, the reason this breakdown happens comes down to something called the myelin sheath. Think of this as the protective insulation wrapped around your nerves. B12 is absolutely essential for building and maintaining it. Without enough B12, this sheath literally deteriorates, and when that happens, it causes symptoms that can actually mimic early Parkinson's disease or diabetic neuropathy. We're talking foot dragging, slowness, numbness, and severe stiffness.
Now you might be thinking, hey, I eat plenty of meat and eggs, I'm fine. But data from the National Institutes of Health reveals that up to 43% of seniors are low or borderline deficient in B12. Why? Well, because as we age, our stomachs produce less hydrochloric acid, and that acid is exactly what's needed to extract B12 from our food. So your diet might be fantastic, but your aging gut simply isn't absorbing the nutrients.
So the absolutely crucial point here is timing. Your nervous system does its major repair work while you are fast asleep. Bedtime is the critical window for nerve tissue recovery and resetting your muscle signaling. If B12 isn't circulating in your bloodstream during that sleep cycle, your nerves miss their daily opportunity to heal. That is exactly why delivering B12 right before bed is so incredibly effective.
Moving right along to vitamin number 2 in our protocol, vitamin D3, the muscle rebuilder.
This is a nighttime nutrient that actively fuels muscle growth, but the deficiency rate here is wild. 70% of seniors lack enough D3, and before you blame it on not spending enough time outdoors, the science actually tells us that even with daily sun exposure, human skin produces about 75% less D3 from the sun after you hit age 60. Your body is essentially losing its natural factory settings to manufacture this vital nutrient.
Most of us only think of D3 for bone health, right? But its role in the legs is way more dynamic than that. D3 actually drives muscle protein synthesis. It activates specific muscle receptors that control your strength and stability. And, here's the kicker, these receptors are most active during deep sleep, which is precisely when your body releases growth hormone. On top of that, D3 actively cools down chronic microinflammation in your muscle tissue. You know that deep, nagging ache you feel at night?
The clinical results of timing this correctly are honestly amazing. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that seniors who supplemented with D3 at night saw a 19% increase in leg strength. And not only that, they suffered 34% fewer falls over a 3-month period. That is real, measurable physical power returning to the body. And that brings us to our number 1 spot, vitamin K2, the calcium director. This is a nutrient that most people simply aren't talking about. Yet, it reactivates muscle memory and deeply supports collagen repair by acting as the ultimate traffic controller for your body's calcium. Without it, the calcium in your body gets totally lost. It deposits into your arteries, stiffening your blood vessels, and hardens inside your joints, causing a lot of pain. But with K2, that calcium is directed precisely where it belongs, straight into your bones. This explains exactly why taking vitamin D3 alone, without K2, can actually make joint pain worse for some people.
And K2 does a lot more than just move calcium around. It actually activates muscle repair genes. A 2021 study from the journal Nutrients showed that over just 8 weeks, participants taking K2 saw a 21% increase in quadriceps strength and a massive 31% improvement in standing balance. So this isn't just a slight energy boost from some supplement. This is the literal biological reactivation of your muscle repair systems while you sleep.
All right, so how do we put this all together? Let's turn to your nighttime recovery routine.
We know the science, we know the profound impact these 3 vitamins have, so here's the exact daily protocol to maximize your leg recovery. For B12, you want sublingual methylcobalamin at about 1,000 micrograms. The word sublingual is absolutely key here because it means it dissolves under your tongue, completely bypassing your aging gut. For D3, you want cholecalciferol at 2,000 to 4,000 IU. And for K2, look specifically for the MK7 form at 100 to 200 micrograms. That's the form that stays active in your body the longest.
Okay, here is your super simple bedtime tray routine. Step 1, take that B12 right under the tongue on an empty stomach. Step 2, take your D3 and K2 together. Now, because D3 and K2 are fat-soluble, you have to take them with a very small amount of healthy fat, think a spoonful of almond butter or a tiny piece of cheese, just for optimal absorption. Step 3, do all of this about 30 minutes before you go to sleep so it hits your bloodstream just as your deep repair cycles kick into gear. And to really supercharge this routine, we have 3 quick amplifier habits. First, sip water steadily every 90 minutes during the day to keep your blood from thickening, but definitely stop an hour before bed so you aren't waking up for the bathroom. Second, keep your last meal light to prioritize muscle repair over heavy digestion. And third, and I think this is genuinely amazing, just 5 minutes of gentle, seated leg movement before bed has been shown to increase nighttime blood flow by 22%. That delivers all these vitamins right into the muscle tissues that need them the absolute most.
Which leaves us with the most important part of this entire explainer: taking action. You now have the blueprint, the tools to fight back against sarcopenia, to calm that nerve inflammation, and to guide calcium back into your bones to restore your foundation. They are right in front of you. So, will you just accept leg weakness as a normal part of aging, or will you take control of your independence and start this protocol tonight? The choice for stronger legs is totally yours.